I'm Mick, and this is Sally. In our videos, we hope to showcase what Australia has to offer. You can follow us on our adventures via the following social media platforms. If you like the video, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Part 3 of 7.5 days in a road train has me crossing over the border into Northern Territory from Queensland and onto three ways, and there I turn right and head up into Darwin. Crossing over the border, leaving Queensland behind me and heading into the Northern Territory. Now starting to cross over the Barkly, and it's this area when I left Adelaide on this trip that was randomly being shut due to heavy rain, and I didn't know whether I was going to get stuck here or not, but as it turned out, it was probably some of the wettest part of the road shy of Glendambo in South Australia that I crossed over on for the entire trip. It's amazing the amount of water that's lying out in the paddocks. Ever since I left Broken Hill, on and off, there's been water in the paddocks, and even on Adelaide side of Broken Hill, the countryside has sustained quite a heavy amount of erosion from heavy water that's flowed down the area on this current rain that we've had in the last few weeks. As I crossed over the road on the Barkly, the only water that I found on the road was this patch here, and it wasn't even enough water to give a 100% covering on the road. It was just laying there on parts of the road, so as far as the rain goes, it didn't affect me at all. Far from the Barkly Homestead now, and there's a substantial amount of water that's still lying out in the paddock up against the road here, and I don't know whether it flooded and shut the road here at all during the period of the flood, but certainly a lot of water around. Whilst I stopped here at the Barkly Homestead, although not stopping overnight, I had a shower, and it was a shower with a bit of difference. It was a cold one. I don't know whether the hot water had to be turned on or what the go was, but they sent me out the back to the shower block B, I think it was, and that finished up being locked, so it said on the door to go across to shower block A. So went over there, and only one light working, and of course I had to grab a shower cubicle that was furthest away from the light, so that wasn't real good. And then cold water, that just topped it off. And when I left, after mucking around trying to dry myself off and do what you normally do, I left half my toiletry gear behind. So yeah, not a good visit to Barkly Homestead. Before long, it was back on the road heading west again. And an only advantage of heading west, you can watch the sunset. The setting sun in the west certainly made this expanse of water very pretty to drive through, or drive past I should say. Drawing to an end, I made it to my desired destination for the night, and that was in a little roadside stopping area just north of Three Ways on my way to Darwin. Sun's a bit later rising in the east than what it was when I was in Queensland now, so I'm starting each day in the dark, but just coming into Renner Springs here very shortly, and here I'll put in just enough fuel to make sure I get into Darwin without any issues, and then make my way on from there. Yeah, good morning. Saturday morning. Too dark to film when I left Three Ways this morning. Camped there last night. So yeah, Saturday morning into Darwin this afternoon and see what they've got for me on the return from there. back in the Northern Territory, certainly starting to see the kilometres clicking over fast now. The road speed limit for road trains being back up at 100 kilometres an hour. Certainly a lot quicker to cover the ground on road conditions that allow that 100 kilometre an hour limit. Northern Territory over the last 6 months seem to be going through a massive road drainage program, and here very shortly you'll see where they're doing massive drains in across the road. So I'm quite surprised with the Northern Territory. If it was in South Australia we'd be down to 25 kilometres an hour when we go past something like this, but these guys here, they bring it down to 60, sometimes 40, and away you go. How good this red clay sort of dirt that they've got here is on the road now would be like if it rained. Normally, as a rule, if you see a set of wheels on a trailer drop off on the side of the road and hit that red stuff, you just about disappear down to the bottom of the earth. You sink that quick. Section of road that we're on now used to be notorious for cattle, and on the weekly run to Darwin we normally travel this one of a night time, so it wasn't very good. But the Northern Territory's gone through a bit of a program of, well, I guess it's a program, but a lot of the roadside's all been fenced off now, so it's not as open as what it used to be, and obviously keeping the cattle off the road. More roadworks on the entry into Larrimah. They're doing up a big upgrade to one of the intersections here. These heavy rain clouds for a while now, and quite surprised I hadn't got rain earlier on, but just after I'd been through Mataranka on the northern side of Mataranka, it started to rain, and then for some time it come down as heavy as, once it cleared off it never come back again. Regular run on the weekly run that we do going up to Darwin. It's normally dark going along here, and this is just before Adelaide River on the southern side, but it's nice to see it in daylight. It can be very pretty with the floodplains here with water in it as it's got at the moment. Weekly 2-up run to Darwin as a 2-up driver. is on a contract basically with the same freight each week, so I don't have to wait for trailers. Well, when I say I don't have to wait for trailers, I don't have to wait to find out what trailers I'm taking back to Adelaide. It's always the same freight each week, so it's straightforward. But as a single driver on this run, it's something that I haven't gone up to Darwin with ABC before, but I'm sort of hoping and have asked that I have my nominated trailers to go back down to Adelaide from Darwin already there, so I know what ones I'm taking, and that way I'm not sitting up at Darwin, because I don't want to have a 24-hour break into Darwin and then find out somewhere down the road on my way home that there's a road flooded and I've got to sit on the side of the road for 1 or 2 days, and one of those days could have been my 24-hour break that I wasted up in Darwin. So hopefully when I get in, there'll be some trailers ready for me to go. Brings us to the end of part 3, and in part 4 I'll be leaving Darwin here in the Northern Territory and travelling back into South Australia, where I'll be venturing down to Cooper Pedy before finishing the next part 4 there. If you like the video that you just watched, give us a thumbs up, and if you want to see more of our videos, hit the subscribe button. And once you've done that, tap on the bell and change the notification to all. That way every time we do uploads to our YouTube channel, you'll be notified.